Did you know that the Yuan Empire was founded by an illiterate nomad? Well, if not, you're going to find out today. So let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and today I'm going to tell you 10 things you probably didn't know about the Yuan Empire. Let's get started with number 1. The Yuan Empire was founded by an illiterate nomad named Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, who lived between 1162 and 1227, first subdued the Mongol tribes and other tribes under his command, and then he sent his people on a quest to conquer the world. He trained his army, generals, and sons to be victorious against the much more populous and scientifically advanced empires to the south and to the east. He directed his family to continue his attacks after he died. This leads us to number 2. The Mongols' campaign to create the Yuan Empire lasted 70 years. The Mongols were persistent. Genghis Khan died in 1227 while destroying the Western Xia Empire. His son, Ogedai, conquered the Jin Empire, and his grandson, Kublai Khan, finally conquered all of the Song Empire in 1279. Their campaign for conquest of the region that is now modern China lasted for 70 years. On to number 3. 3 million people extended the Grand Canal to Beijing. Kublai Khan, who lived between 1215 and 1294, ordered 3 million people to extend the Grand Canal, which is the longest canal in the world, to reach his capital in Beijing in the 1280s, through hill country that earlier dynasties didn't dig through. This gave Beijing direct inland access to southern cities and the Yangtze River Basin for the first time, and helped the Northern Territory and the whole empire prosper. Number 4. Kublai's empire was the first to use paper money as the main currency. In the year 1273, Kublai Khan issued paper banknotes that was backed by the government called Chow. This was a big innovation in the banking and monetary system. Paper currency had been issued and used during the Song Dynasty era, but the Yuan Empire was the first in the world to use paper currency as the predominant circulating medium. Europeans were astonished when Marco Polo described the money. For a while, paper currency helped increase trade with the rest of the world and facilitated prosperity. Now for number 5. Kublai's huge armadas were both wrecked by typhoons. Kublai Khan sent 2 armadas to invade Japan, but Japan was favored by its bad weather. You see, he sent a fleet in 1274 that had 23,000 soldiers on 900 ships. Well, 2 storms wreaked havoc. The first storm sank 200 craft, and after failing to establish a base after several small battles, the army turned back, and a typhoon sank most of the ships. Kublai sent a force of 140,000 and 3,500 ships 7 years later. It was one of the largest armadas ever assembled. But unfortunately, another typhoon sank most of the ships. About 100,000 soldiers were killed or captured on land. Next, we have number 6. China once officially stretched to Europe. Kublai's rule was not acknowledged by the Mongols, who controlled Western Asia. But the rule of his son, Emperor Zhengzong, was accepted in 1309 by the 3 Western Mongol empires who controlled territory as far west as Hungary. Excluding the western domains, the Yuan-controlled land stretched from far north of Mongolia to parts of Vietnam and from the Pacific Ocean to Central Asia. It was the largest of the dynastic empires that have existed in the region and probably the most powerful. Coming in at number 7, the Yuan advanced technology, math, and science. There was major innovation of the white and blue Genghis Khan porcelain. I apologize for my mispronunciations in this video. They made better navigational compasses and invented firearms, which included exploding gunpowder-filled shell bombs and exploding grenades hurled by slings. A Yuan astrologer made the most accurate calendar up to that time, and they may have been the first to use decimal numbers. But slowing down for number 8. The Yuan misspent themselves out of power. At the end of Kublai's life, the Yuan defeats against the Japanese and costly campaigns against countries to the south, alongside the court's large-scale construction projects, had drained their treasury. Kublai's successors continued their overspending ways and printing paper money, and using much of their easy wealth for decadent living, while their people starved. The rulers lost touch with their Mongol roots and the populace, and settled into Chinese imperial life. The hyperinflation impoverished the lower classes, who became rebellious. Some more bad news coming in at number 9. You have the Little Ice Age, the Black Death, floods, and drought, all of them combining to kill millions. From the 1320s onwards, and especially after 1340, people in the countryside suffered from frequent natural disasters such as droughts and unusually cold weather from the onset of the Little Ice Age. In 1331, the bubonic plague pandemic that was called the Black Death in Europe ravaged the empire. Millions of people died in the Hebei, again I'm mispronouncing and I apologize, the Hebei province alone. In 1344, the Yellow River shifted course. This was a massive flood that impoverished an important and populous region at the center of the empire. The river flooded again 2 other times in the last decades of the empire. Then massive famines. A time of drought lasted from 1340 until 1380, when the last Mongol strongholds were finally conquered. And it all has to end somewhere, so why not with number 10? Omens urged the ethnic Chinese to out the Mongols. The Yuan Dynasty didn't deal with the famine and flooding, and the people turned against it. Natural disasters and poverty left the people desperate and rebellious. Rebellion leaders claimed that Yuan misrule had upset heaven, and that the natural disasters were omens of loss of the mandate of heaven. The people rose up, encouraged that they were doing heaven's work. Many rebellions started between 1351 and 1367 until Zhu Hongzhuang's large rebel army captured Beijing in 1368 and the Ming Empire began. Well, what about you? Did you know these facts about the Yuan Empire? Tell me in the comments below if I missed anything. Okay? Now, while you're down there, go ahead and hit that like button for me so YouTube knows to share this video with everyone. And if that button is red, let's turn to gray. Don't forget to subscribe. And be sure to check out my other videos. I have all kinds of videos all listed here. I have world history videos like this. I also have US and government civics videos. I even have videos shot in 360 that you can look all the way around. I know you're going to like them, so check them out. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.